A family in southeast Salem has been without power for 9 days.
Yeah, they're one of only a couple dozen customers in their neighborhood still in the dark. Fox 12's Brenna Kelly joins us now with their story. Quite the ordeal, Brenna.
That's right, Pete. This side of the street has power. The other side does not. And that's where the Jory family lives. They are desperate for power, saying at night there is light all around them. But they feel their home and their neighbors were forgotten.
We just sit there inside and wait. When is the next time that we have to fill the gas? My feet hurts because of the cold.
Christina Jory and her husband have been in the dark, no power for 9 days.
It's very frustrating. They cannot just say, we are working hard 24/7. 24/7, bring your crew here so we could see that your crew is working. We don't see a crew. They should go around here at night so they will know.
While the homes around them have been energized, Christina says it's like they've been left behind.
This neighborhood next to me, he has a cancer, and then the third one that was, sent to the hospital.
Christina says most of her neighbors have left. They couldn't take it. 3 doors down, she says a neighbor was taken to the hospital for carbon monoxide poisoning. Meanwhile, Christina suffers from asthma, needing a nebulizer machine every 6 hours to help treat it. She can't leave.
I don't have a relatives here that I can go to. I don't want to go to the shelter because they're telling me to go to the shelter. No, I'm not going to compromise myself, especially with my bronchitis. I don't want to have COVID. I don't know. It's to the time that I might just pass out and die. And I don't know who will be held accountable with this.
PGE says they are in the final two stages of restoration. At this point, repairs only bring back about 10 customers at a time. It's slow going, and that's because of all the damage they're running into. I asked specifically about the Jory family situation today, and PGE says, unfortunately, these little pockets of customers without power are common, and that's the way it's going to be for the rest of this stage. The way they prioritize the work is they start with the most amount of customers they can repair in one sitting at once in the least amount of time to the least amount of customers. Pete?
Yeah, Brenna, it's been 9 days, though. So you heard from PGE about the progress they've made, and our thanks to those crews, for sure. Did they say why this is taking so long this time with this storm?
Well, it's the question we all want to know, right? This is their last stretch of work, as I mentioned, and it's the hardest on crews. They are exhausted. This is tedious work now, down to 10 customers at a time. For some perspective, at 2:30, when we had this media briefing with PGE, there was still more than 5,000 points of equipment damage to their system. That's 5,000 different things they have to still fix. In the last week, though, PGE did have some big wins. They described it as every time they would close a breaker, they'd pick up about 600, 1,000, 2,000 more customers. Now, as I said, repairs look a lot different. They're just picking up about 10 customers here and there. This is the last piece of work, but it is slow, just given the amount of damage we've seen through these storm events.
And Brenna, you already touched on this. Those crews working so hard, they must be exhausted. Are they still out there working 24/7?
That's right. They are drained. They're exhausted, as one would expect. PGE's CEO said today, we have mutual aid from as far north as British Columbia and as far south as Southern California. Just hundreds and hundreds of crews here. They are still working round the clock. We heard from a man called Quentin Gaddis. He said this is the most tedious, laborious part of the work after a storm, but it's why these crews get into the business. This is when it starts to become personal to them. They are in your neighborhoods, watching your lights come back on. It's extremely rewarding at this point in the process. And just for some comparison about just how bad this event was, one man from PGE said today he just spoke with a lineman. He's from the East Coast. Now he's a Northwest lineman. He said this here in Oregon is more damage than he worked on in Superstorm Sandy Just for some perspective there, when it comes to Oregon's challenging vegetation and down lines. And in a storm like this, having this many small outages is just unprecedented for them here in our history.
Brenna, thank you so much for your answering those questions. And again, our thanks to all the crews working so hard to try to repair damage from this storm. Brenna, thank you for the live report.